Hello gamers and dwellers of the internet, this is Analyzation Skull bringing you yet another Destiny video. This time we are going to be doing Golgoroth Hard Mode, Challenge Mode for Destiny in the King's Fall raid. This is by far the most difficult challenge mode to complete, in my perspective anyway. Anyways, let's get right into it. First of all, you're going to want to designate numbers to every player at the beginning of the boss battle. You're going to want to establish who is going to take the gaze and when they are going to take it sequentially, because that is the requirement for the challenge mode. It is that every single damage cycle on Golgoroth has to be done with one of the players after another obtaining the gaze, and all 6 players have to obtain it for every damage cycle without letting it drop. This means that you have to take the gaze from another player without that timer hitting 0 that we so loathe for this challenge. So, number 1 is going to be established, the first person who gets the gaze, and there are a couple of different methods to this that people have taken approaches to or that they consider preferable, but I'm going to be explaining the method of the one bubble strat, which is where the first person to take the gaze is the person to initiate the damage cycle and hold Golgoroth in one place for long enough to the bubble to be shot down and for players to get down in there and to do damage to him. Now, right after this event happens, the second player, who is going to be the most valuable to the team, or the most valuable for completing the challenge, I would have to say, to take the gaze within a matter of seconds of it dropping from the first player. Not only does the second gaze grabber have to be an expert, or at least skilled at grabbing the gaze during timing for grabbing it, he has to let the counter get down to almost 0 and grab it to allow for maximum damage time and to make sure that the gaze is not dropped so that the challenge mode can be continued, which is why his job is so difficult. So at about around 10 seconds for this strategy, a little tip I have is that around 10 seconds the number 2 gaze grabber is going to want to run out of the damage bubble. He may only get a chance to get 2 or 3 shots in, maybe a full clip if he's skilled, into Golgoroth to damage him fully, but after that, once the first gaze grabber announces 10 seconds are left, he's going to want to go and run and take that gaze. Then, for this strategy, this particular one, everybody else, 3, 4, 5, and 6, are going to line up at the bridge and one after another take the gaze. Now, this works due to the method that is used for it, and that is when the second gaze grabber runs up to the bridge to grab the gaze, he is going to grab it from the opposite side that the first gaze grabber would be standing at, because the first gaze grabber is going to want to head to the front of the room to allow for maximum damage done, obviously, because the bubbles are going to be popped in front of Golgoroth. So he's going to grab it from the back, from the bridge, number 2, and what he's going to do after that is run around in the circle and bring Golgoroth's attention back to the front so that the next person in line, which is number 2, can grab the gaze from the back on that, or number 3 I should say, can grab the gaze from the back on that bridge. And this is just going to continue in a pattern. Number 3 will grab it and run forward in a circle to bring Golgoroth's attention towards the front, so that number 4 will be waiting at the bridge to grab it, and rinse and repeat. That is it's a very simple method to Golgoroth. It can allow you to complete it efficiently. I've done this method as well as others with several raid teams, and it's proven successful time and time again, which is easy enough. It is not the most efficient, meaning that, not to say that it's not the most successful, but it's not the most efficient as far as time is concerned, because you do have to allow for a little bit more time to be used up on account of the running around. But it's not too much time wasted, and people can grab the gaze well enough. They should have plenty of time to grab it. If the person is running fast enough, you should not have a problem there, unless the person just sucks at running. But what you're gonna want to do for this is that what you're gonna want to obviously tether and use the weapons bubble. Usually, if the person is a skilled enough gaze grabber, number 1 can shoot down the bubble that is necessary for damage on Golgoroth, as well as take the gaze frontwards from that angle, which is semi-difficult depending on who you are. But if he can do that, then that frees up the even more useful strategy for a Titan bubble to be popped in the space just in front of the front left bubble, so that people can get the maximum amount of damage on Golgoroth. And that really helps out a lot if the the initial gaze grabber, can be skilled in that regard. But everybody, what this strategy does for running around, and what's beneficial about it, is that everyone besides the first gaze grabber does not have to worry about the toxic bubbles hurting them whatsoever. Because if you are constantly running around in a circle, as I'm demonstrating here, you don't have to risk damage, you don't have to risk dying, and you don't have to risk ruining the challenge altogether. So this method is what I would refer to as the better safe than sorry method, which does allow you to use a bit of an extra amount of time, but it also guarantees your safety beyond what the other methods would do for you, which is why it's semi-preferable. It's really, I mean, I prefer any method that works, honestly, but it can be preferable to you if you are a person who likes to be cautious and likes to be safe about the way you approach these things, and you want absolute assurance for the completion of the challenge, which is why it can be beneficial. Anyways, you can see here that we're just doing the standard method of lining up, popping the bubble, the gaze grabber grabs it, and then everybody just grabs it sequentially after, and that's pretty much all there is to it. The only trouble you're going to have is what you always would have during this last round of damage once you get Golgoroth to low enough health, is that Taken start spawning, and they can become quite a nuisance if they're not dealt with efficiently, which is why you want to have somebody, usually a Stormcaller, assigned to take them out, so that they can't damage anybody on the inside. And that is the completion of the challenge. We had done it successfully. You can see the chest is popping up there. Very easy, very well, not easy if you're a person who is struggling with the raid, but simple enough to where you can understand it and complete it sufficiently after a few run-throughs. It is, however, often considered to be the most difficult of the challenge modes. Everything else is per capita, watch for thralls, do good damage on damage cycles, step into that weapons. Anyways, that is this Golgoroth challenge mode for you people. I hope you liked it, and more videos to come in the future. Take it easy.